Hey partner, so we have done all the steps that are essential to the game with utmost perfection. But buddy, there is one more element that we want to incorporate in the game. Can you guess what it is? We play games for thrills and chills. And if it is a platformer game, the efficiency of a gamer will definitely be measured on the basis of a single feature. Yes, the high score of the player. Then, shall we now introduce the high score element to our game? Indeed, this game will never be complete without the high score feature in it, right? So yes, let's now add the high score feature into our game. I know that you have a clear idea about the high score element. If we score the highest point, then that point will be displayed as the high score in the game. This will be the same until it gets broken to set the new high score. So to introduce this feature onto our game, first of all, move the cursor to the top left of the screen. Click on Game tab to make the game scene appear. And there it is. We now have the game scene displayed. So go to the Object tab and click on Add a new object. Then choose the text option and set the name of the text object as high score. Now click on the initial text to display option and assign it as high score. Then click on the text size and set it as 60. Then select the text color and set the color of the text as white. Tick on bold and finally click on apply. Now move the cursor to the Object tab to drag and drop the high score object to place it above the score object. Then click on it to set its properties. From the Properties tab at the left side, click on the X position to set it as 1440. Also select the Y position value and set it to 75. Alright, the high score object is now precisely positioned. We know that it is not enough to just add the object to the game scene, but we have to set its events in the Game Events tab to make the feature work. So, click on the Game Events tab at the top left side to access the Game Events window. Now what? Yes, click on Empty Event at the last and then click on Add Action. The first action that we are going to add is a little tricky. This is the action to record the values of the variable score to a particular storage in order to store and display the high score from the scores in that storage. Alright, so search right in the search bar and select the writer value action from the search results. Now on the right side, set the storage name as HS. The values of the variable score will now be stored in the storage name HS. Okay, now insert the group as game. Then for the expression path, we have to put the variable which we want to record or write into the storage. So type variable in the expression option and choose the variable scene variable function from the options. Then click inside the option brackets and put the name of the scene variable as score. That's it. Now click on OK. From now on, all the values of the variable score will be displayed and the highest score will be stored in the storage name HS. We want to make the game read the recorded value in the storage to make the high score feature work properly. It's not enough to record the value, but the recorded data must be read to proceed further. So how do we do that? Initially, click on Add a new event for creating a new event and then click on Add Condition and search storage in the search bar. Now choose the existence of a group condition, set the storage name as HS and the group name as game, just like we assigned it for the previous event. Then click on OK. Now we can add the corresponding action to the condition to make the recorded values readable. So click on Add Action and search Read in the search box. Select Reader Value Action from the search results. Then set the name of storage as HS and the group as, what was the group? Yes, game. So give it as game. Now we are going to create a new variable in the scene variables option to allocate the values to be read. So click on the scene variables option and set the new variable name as final. Then press OK. Have you ever read about 𝗟𝗰𝗲𝗏 Howden? He is known as the father of modern magic. He invented many magic tricks that are still famous and led the transition of magic shows from the streets and circuses to proper stage shows. So dear, when will the high score be displayed? Yes, it will be displayed in the game scene and also in the game over scene. We have already set the variable to the game scene. Now let's assign a global variable and also assign the value of seed variable final to the global variable, which will have access to all the scenes. As the global variable can be accessed from any scene in the game, we will be able to store the scores that the entire game needs access to. So yes, let's now create a global variable. For that, click on Add Action in the same event and search Global in the search box. Select value of a global variable action from the search results. As the name of the global variable, let's set high score. Choose the operator as set to. For the value part, initially type variable and select variable scene variable function from the options. Then click inside the open brackets of the variable function and set the scene variable as final. Now click on OK. Alright, the variable final is now assigned into a global variable that has access to both the game and game over scenes. Now, don't we want to add the event to make the high score display in the game scene? Of course, but we haven't added that yet. So quick, let's insert that particular event. Click on Add a new event and on the Add action. Okay, we just have to modify the text of the text object high score to make the high score display in the game scene. So search Modify in the search option and choose Modify the text option from the search results. From the right side, choose the object as high score and the operator as set to. We want to add the value as the value in the global variable high score. So click on the value option and initially type high score. Then insert a plus sign and type global. Now from options, choose global variable string global variable function, click inside the open brackets and insert the name of the global variable high score. Perfect. The value part of the action has now become high score plus global variable string high score. The value is set now. So click on OK. We are still missing an important link in the process of displaying the high score. That is, in the first game, even if we score 1 or 100 points, that will be eventually displayed as the high score. But if we score less than the first game, in the second game, then that won't be displayed as the high score. But we need to set conditions to validate this point. So let's get on with it. Move the cursor to the event containing the writer value action and then click on Add Condition. Then search variable in the search bar and choose value of a scene variable condition from the search results. At the right side, set the variable as score, our first variable added in the game. Choose the operator as greater than and click on value to compare option. Okay, we want to compare the score variable with the global variable high score. as the high score values that we want to make the high score displayed is assigned with the global variable. So first, type global in the value to compare option and choose global variable from the functions. Now click inside the open brackets and set the global variable as high score. Then click on OK. Great! Now we have added the condition to make the high score unveil when the score is greater than the value of global variable. We are almost there. Let's have a preview of the work done by us until now. So click on the play button to make the preview window displayed. We have the high score object displayed at the top right now. So now move the wizard to collect some points. Alright, we now have 4 points. So let's deliberately touch an evil object to make the game over to see the results of our work. And there comes a bat. Touch it. And the game over scene is displayed now. Then click on the play again button and see the high score is now displayed as 4. So now we shall check the validity of the high score feature if we score greater than the current high score. So to check that, make the wizard collect more than 4 points now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Perfect. Now let's make contact with an evil object. Okay, there is a bat. Run and touch it, buddy. The game over scene is displayed now. And simply press play again button. And there it is. The high score object has now abated the high score from 4 to 6. That's what we want, buddy, right? Very good. Now let's close the preview window. Did you know the story of the British illusionist and mentalist Darren Brown? He predicted the winning numbers of a lottery in 2009. To achieve this feat, he locked himself in a room for a whole year with 2 cameramen. Interesting, right? But it's still a mystery why he did not buy the winning lottery ticket after he found out the winning number. Okay, now what? Have you noticed that anything is missing in our preview? I will give you a hint. It is in the game over scene. Yes, the high score object. The high score object is missing in the game over scene because we have not added the same to the game over scene. So now go to the game over scene by clicking on the game over tab at the top left side. Then move the cursor to the object tab and click on add a new object. Just as we did for the game scene, here also choose the sprite option and set the name of the object as high score. Set the initial text to display as high score. Then click on the text size and set it as 100. Also select the text color option and assign it as white. Finally, tick on bold and click on apply. Now as you know, click on the high score object in the object tab to drag and place the object below the game over title. Now we have to code the events of the game over scene to make the high score text display the game over scene. But my partner, this is not a Herculean task as we have assigned the final variable into a global variable. We just have to copy the final event from the game events and paste it in the game over events. So click on the game events tab to access the game events window. Now move the cursor to the last event of the game events and right click on it. Then select copy from the options. Now go back to game over events window by clicking on the game over events tab. Alright, now click on add a new event and right click on the empty event. Then choose paste from the options. Good, the copied event is now pasted into the empty event. Now click on modify a text action or the second action in the event and select the high score object. Then change it to high score object in order to modify the high score text object of the game over scene in this action. Yes, we successfully finished our game creation, but don't get too excited. before wrapping this up, let's have a final preview. Okay, so now let's go to the game scene by clicking on the game tab at the top left side. Then click on the play button to have a final preview of the game from the very beginning. Alright, now we have the preview window. What is the current high score now? 6, right? So let's move the wizard and set a new high score, say 9. Let's keep collecting the magical objects by carefully avoiding evil ones. And yes, the scorecard now shows 9. And we can quit the game by touching on any 2 of the evil objects. There is a bat spelling down. And yes, touch it and see. The game over scene is now displayed. And if we click on play again, it flawlessly goes back to the game scene and starts a fresh game. Also, the high score is updated from 6 to 9. Yes, my partner, now we are all done with this job. So, close the preview window now to say a triumphant work. To save the game, move the cursor to the file option at the top left side of the screen. And then click on save. That's it. The game is now saved and the project is done with precision. Great. So now go to the file option again to click on exit 𝗙𝗵𝗲 and then hit OK in the dialog box to exit 𝗙𝗵𝗲. Now let's take a recap. Okay, so what was the first thing that we did? Yes, we created the game scene and added the spectacular background to the game scene. Then we set the animations for the wizard and also added an invisible body part to it. This was followed by the introduction of the magical objects and the evil ones, right? Indeed, we also set the common events for them. After that, we set up the events to make the collision of the magical objects with the body part of the wizard perfect. Then we added the scorecard and created the game over scene. What was next? Yes, the setting up of events for the collision of the body part of the wizard with the evil objects. And finally, we created the high score feature with the help of a global variable to display the high score in the game scene and also in the game over scene. Thus, we created an incredibly beautiful game, the Wizarding World. Wow, we did it, buddy! Hey buddy, why are you not creating the game of the Wizarding World? I know you can do it in the best way. But before that, watch these steps again and create the game all by yourself. Until we meet again, bye!